25 Bilder, ja.
Sorry.
Ja, klappt mal. Klappt?
Es geht los. 10, 9.
Nochmal klappen bitte.
Klapp nochmal Bildkamera bitte. Jetzt hast du hast den Filoni im Bild, ne?
Ja.
Nee, der geht zu uns jetzt.
Wo geht der dann nachher?
Nee, er kommt bei der Tür. Okay, er schaut doch eh schon sehr entspannt aus.
Wo setze ich mich am liebsten hin?
Wo du möchtest. Es geht jetzt los.
Ja. Ihr haltet euch wieder an die 10
Ja.
Minuten? Okay, danke. Genau, hier die Tür machen wir noch zu.
Where am I going?
You can sit here if you want, or you can also stand as you like. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Christina. This is Tilman, Silva, and Mila, and we are film students from Munich. And we would like to start with a quick Q&A game, quick answers and quick questions.
I'll do my best.
For example, black or white, and you can decide what you answer.
I refuse.
So we start.
Okay.
Black or white?
I refuse to answer.
Denmark or USA?
Refuse to answer.
Tea or coffee?
Doesn't matter.
Sleep or party?
Doesn't matter.
Sea or desert?
Doesn't matter.
Spring or autumn?
Equally.
Fish or meat?
Doesn't matter.
Back or forward?
Doesn't matter. I'm probably going to give you the same answer for all of them.
And why or why not?
Same.
Munich or Berlin?
Same.
Okay, now something different. Favorite country?
Don't have one.
Favorite language?
Don't have one.
Favorite color?
Don't have one.
And if you choose a color for the mood and genre of Far From Man, which color will you choose and why?
I really think the point of the movie is that it doesn't matter.
The color or the genre or the mood?
I think it doesn't matter. I think all colors are welcome.
All colors are welcome, so that it's a colorful movie or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter.
Okay. And David Ollhoffen, what color would you give him? And why? Maybe because of his character or personality.
Maybe white, because I know he's a fan of Real Madrid.
And what color would you give Daro?
I wouldn't.
You would not? Why?
I wouldn't limit him.
Okay. How would you describe him?
Someone who's trying to be just.
And how deep did your own character and personality of yourself influence the role of Daro?
Well, I think always something spills over, because it's after all me and my voice and my body. But I was thinking almost all the time about Albert Camus, or at least my perception of him, and what seemed to me to be his way of thinking in playing the role. And I think the director was thinking about that a lot as well, because we spoke about the writer of the short story that the movie's based on a lot. The adaptation that David made has a lot to do with, as much to do with him as it does with that particular short story.
Okay. In your opinion, what part does nationality and identity play in the film?
I think that by the end, the film minimizes those things, which I think is healthy, and which I know was Camus' way of thinking about these things. He was about making borders disappear and trying to get rid of the obstacles to understanding between different peoples. And I think that this story is eventually about that.
And to what country would you associate Daru? Because of his ethical background?
It's complicated. I mean, he has, in his upbringing, you know, he heard Spanish from the south of Spain around his house from his parents. He grew up working with them in the fields and with Arab children, Arab adults, so Arab culture and language from that part of Algeria, and French because of that was the colonial power, and that's what you learned in school. So a mixture.
And now a question for you. What country would you personally associate yourself? Because also of your background.
Mm-hmm. The more I travel and the more cultures I'm exposed to, the more places I find I can comfortably call home.
For example?
Many. I mean, what I realize is there's really isn't any limit to how many places you can be comfortable in, and it's not in the end so important where you are, but how you are.
Mm-hmm. Do you also feel a bit home in Algeria or in Morocco where you filmed?
A little bit. I mean, I got to know, it's not the first time I've been to the Atlas Mountains or to Morocco or to North Africa. Yeah. I did go to Algeria before we were shooting the movie, and I liked it. I got to know some things about it. There's something urgent about when you're preparing a character, you get to know places in an intense way, just like you get to know members of a crew or other actors in a way, Daru and Mohammed in this story, they only spend a couple of days together, but they get to know each other by the end as if they'd known each other for years. You know, there's something very intense about that compressed, high-pressure experience that they go through together.
Maybe you can also tell us, for what does the title stand for, Far From Man?
Well, on one level, it's about what Daru has chosen to do when the story starts. For the past 10 years, he's been living isolated in the middle of the mountains, completely by himself, except for when he's with the children he teaches in school, as a school teacher. And I guess he felt he was trying to escape conflict and war and disagreement and unpleasantness, and he wanted to live a life in which he was not hurting anyone, in which he was doing good. And this is what he found to do, to isolate himself and to help children, to help educate children. So he's far from men in a general sense, but part of what he learns in the story is that he's also been avoiding life on some level, interacting with people, women, and men, not just far from men, but far from men. I think the title means far from humans, not just men. And I think that in some sense, he teaches Muhammad and Muhammad teaches him a similar lesson, which is say yes to life, you know.
How did you prepare yourself for the role? I heard you have to learn Arabic. You speak French fluently, so that was not the problem.
Well, I mean, I had to work on that too. I had to improve it. It wasn't good enough for the movie before I started. And also the French I spoke, which I spoke pretty well, but it was, but it had a little bit of accent from North America, from Quebec, which is where I learned it from, basically. So I had to change the accent, and just like, you know, some roles where I play in English, it depends where the person's from. You have to completely change the way you're speaking, and sometimes that's more difficult than learning a language from zero. You know, the Arabic, I had to work for a long time till I got familiar with it enough. You know, I got all of the script translated in case suddenly the director said, do this or do that scene, let's try it in Arabic. Plus, I think it's fun, you know, so I learned how to say all of that and then learned how to do it with the accent from the region. But I was coming from nowhere, so that was easier, in a way. The French, I had to work harder, even though I already had it, to make sure I wasn't falling back to speaking the way I did before.
And do you have a favorite word in Arabic, and what does it mean for us, because we don't speak Arabic?
Favorite word? Well, that's a difficult one. As you can see, I'm not very good at these
quick answer games.
Favorite things.
Or maybe a word that really sounds specific, or...
Let me think about it. If you ask another question, if something comes to me, I'll say
I just have another question, because we know that you are writing poetry, and we will be pleased if you could recite a little part from a poetry that you have written, if you don't mind, and if you like.
Salam, I would say is the word I like, which most people probably know anyway, but I like that. Anytime you're wishing someone well or peace, I think it's a good thing. What, poetry, what?
Could you maybe recite a little part of your latest poetry? We would be pleased.
I can't remember.
Or from your first poetry.
I can't remember it close enough to give it to you right now. Again, if I think of something, I'll tell you.
Okay. I think we are done, because we just have 10 minutes. But maybe you can think about a sentence. And he's sweating.
I'm good.
10 kilo.
A little bit more than that.
But if there's no one coming, we could...
Could extend, yeah.
But you...
A second.
Yes, you can. All right. We will wait.
Well, it's not really a poem. It's a phrase that's in a catalog, a photograph, an exhibition. This is from a long time ago, probably 1997, 98, something like that. I think there's a phrase there that said, kids are God, pay attention. I think that was it. But it's a phrase, it's not really a poem. That's the only thing that popped into my head now. I'm sure 10 minutes from now I'll think of a whole bunch of things I could have told you, but it's like...
We can wait.
I think I have to go do
No, you have to go. You have to eat and drink.
And you have to sleep. Ollie told me you're tired.
We know Oliver because he also studied at our school.
Oh, did he?
Yes, and he's your personal assistant.
I like him, he's a nice guy.
Yes, we also think so. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Is it possible to take a picture?
Sure.
And then, cool.
All right.